Welcome into Clear Picture Financial with Jason Noble of Prime Capital Investment. You can see the sign behind him. Jason, how's it going? I need that behind me that says Jackie Selby. I don't know what I would say on there
That would
anyway.
be wonderful. Yeah, it was. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving,
Oh,
and
good.
I hope you and your family did as well.
We
It was
did.
just to get everyone together. It's been a while, so it was really fun just to see some of our extended family, and I hope everyone that's listening and watching also had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes. I popped up to Williamsburg, and so we had a great time.
Wonderful.
My aunt went to William and Mary, just a side note, 100 years ago. So we went by her dorm. 1927 is when she entered William and Mary. So
That's
we went by her
wonderful.
dorm and took pictures and, had a great time. Went to, Busch Gardens, saw the lights anyway. It's a great time.
That's a wonderful time.
Yeah. Well, I thought we would talk about holiday and the end of the year is upon us and things that are on people's minds, like what are they going to do end of year to make their retirement and their taxes and everything come out right side up.
Well, yeah, first off, you want to make sure that you contributed to your 401k. Deposits to your 401k are due by the end of the year. So December 31st is the deadline. And, if you're nearing a tax bracket and you put money into the pre-tax portion of your 401k,
Aha.
it could lower your overall tax implications. So that's something to be considering.
Yeah, that's nice. So you can put some extra money in there, right? According to just how much you're allowed to put in there. Because don't you find, Jason, that some people, they think just because the employer matches 3% or 4% or something, then they'll do 3 or 4%, whatever, the match. But you can actually put more in than that, can't you?
Yeah, so you could go up to 22,500 if you're out of the age of 50. And then if you're over the age of 50, there's a catch-up contribution where I think that number is closer to 30,000 this year. So, that's quite a bit of money. Now, there's some 401ks out there, because I know we got to get to other topics as well, Jackie, but there's other 401ks out there that allows you to even do more contributions to what I just said, but that won't be tax deductible. When I have that option, and if the person's in a higher income bracket, and we have that income flow that makes sense to do this, then we look at doing a mega backdoor Roth conversion. And then even if you're interested in learning more, you could go to our website, clearpicturefinancial.com, go to tools, and then you can take a quiz on mega backdoor Roths to see if this is something that you qualify for. And if so, this will be worthy of a conversation as we wrap up the year.
Oh, great. I love things that could benefit me in a tax way.
That's right.
And I know everybody wants that. Okay, when it comes to age 73, you've got to take your required minimum distribution. So distributions from 401ks and traditional IRAs have to be taken by when?
Well, December 31st of each year. Now, if you turned 73, you could do it by April of next year. However, then that means you're doing 2 requirement distributions next year. So it may make sense for one person out there that's listening, but for the majority, no, take it by December 31st so you're not dealing with that issue.
Right.
And if you don't take it by December 31st, unless you fall for that exemption, it's a 25% penalty. So this is a mandatory thing that you definitely want to do.
Is that penalty a hard and fast rule? It used to be half, didn't it, Jason?
It used to be 50%. Now it's 25%. You can file an exemption to move it down to 10. It's just, there's a lot that we have to get through. So I'm going into the high level overviews. I'm just geared up to move from Thanksgiving
I understand.
right into Christmas.
All right. Okay. You know me, I got questions about everything. All right. How about this charity donation from IRA to a charity? Tell me about the advantage of that.
Well, look up qualified charitable distributions, QCDs. And if you're charitably inclined, well, first off, your financial advisor should already know that, right?
Yes.
By reviewing your estate planning documents and knowing you. But my clients who are charitably inclined, I'm having this conversation throughout the year to make sure we could do QCDs. And what you're doing is you're sending the money directly to the charity. Now, it can be sent to your home. For those who are accountants out there and you're listening, you're like, well, that's not entirely true. They can send it to your home, but the check has to be made payable to the charity.
Okay.
right? And so and you want to get that over to them before December 31st, and then they will track that you sent that money, and then they'll send you a receipt. By doing that, you don't have to pay taxes on that part of the required minimum distribution.
Okay.
And that's way better than receiving the required minimum distribution and then writing a check to the charity. Because by doing that, you're probably not going to get it to itemized deduction. Right. So by doing it on the QCD way, you're getting a top line deduction, which is way better than the bottom line.
All right, Jason, let's talk about more ways here year-end. Consider tax mitigating strategies. Can you talk about a couple of those year-end distributions and things like this?
Well, okay, so tax mitigating strategies, like one thing that comes to mind, there's so many, but if you have a brokerage account, like a taxable account, you could examine your realized gains and losses, and if you have any positions right now that you haven't sold, so you have unrealized losses, you could sell those positions to help offset gains or within the portfolio. It's called tax loss harvesting. Now, the other thing that you would want to consider, this is a big no-no, is having like active mutual funds inside of those accounts, because then you can have pass-through taxes of the activity generated by those mutual fund managers. So this is where you would be considering individual stock, individual bond investing, like individual security investing, to even looking at going into exchange traded funds. And that would be a way to offset some of that tax liability through the pass-through taxes. And again, when I say these things, and you're going, I don't know if I have pass-through taxes. I mean, that right there is a clear indication that you may need to have a conversation with a qualified professional that could explain this to you in a more one-on-one setting. Right. And if you do know what I'm talking about, and if you've experienced this, my heart goes out to you, because that's awful. I mean, and I did a tax review for this person that reached out on a radio show, Jackie. They came into the office, and I'm looking at their account, and in their brokerage account, it was a taxable account. They had these mutual funds that had what's called a turnover ratio of well over 200%, meaning they are trading this mutual fund extremely active.
Oh.
And if you look at the returns, they're negative. They're negative for the year, but they have this active fund in their account. I'm like, how did you make this decision to put this fund in here? Well, my advisor was the one who put that in the account. So when I did the deeper analysis on it, it looks like they're going to have pass-through taxes on an account on a balance that went down.
Oh.
So what I'm talking about is serious information. And the reason why is because that tax drag can have a significant impact on your overall financial success. So that advisor did that, not taking this into consideration. Is just why this is, again, I say it once, I'll say it again. This is an industry that needs to move to a profession. And if you're working with an advisor that's just looking at a myopic viewpoint of one aspect of portfolio construction, not looking at how it all fits together, you're working with a salesperson. You're not working with a professional. This is where you want to have a conversation with someone who understands how all these things work together.
Most certainly. I'm glad that you pointed that out, Jason. That's so helpful. I know that we have so many things to talk about today, but one of the things I think is super important is reviewing your beneficiary designations, right?
Yeah, this is a good time of the year to do that, and having that wealth transfer conversation within also the family members. This is a typical time of the year where I'm having these conversations with multi-generations within my clients. And it's not like we're getting into like specific details. We're just going into, in the event that dad passes away first, here's what happens with, for you, mom. In the event that when you pass away, mom, okay, this is then who's going to be taking over the estate through the trust or through the will.
Right.
And then having a conversation with the next of kin right there in the same meeting, right here in the conference room. And in that conversation, it's just like, okay, you're going to be the executor. You're going to come in and meet with me, and I'm going to walk you through all the things then, but this is how the stuff is drawn out, and this is the work that will be involved. And just having those conversations, it's not morbid by any means. It's not something that they're probably have their foot on the gas to come in and meet with me on. But what I'm getting into is it's an important conversation, and it starts the open dialogue.
Yes.
And when I'm doing multi-generational planning, there's things that come into play from my clients' children and even to their grandchildren that we could take proactive measures on. I mean, if you're gonna eliminate one person from your estate plan, would it be a loved one? Would it be a charity, or would it be the federal government? Which one of those three would you want to eliminate?
Let's think about that for a second, Jason.
Well, and if you don't know how you're doing that, this is where I want you to reach out. Well, estate planning is the cornerstone of what we do, Jackie, but it's beyond that. It's really around building out a financial plan that's comprehensive and holistic.